the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now
Alright guys, we're towing or hauling the heaviest piece of equipment and max capacity for my setup. This is a Mini 306 with a hydraulic grapple, and this weighs 18,000 pounds, and we're gonna max this thing out. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some chains and get this strapped down. All right guys, cruise control is on. We are at max capacity. Well, as close as max capacity as I want to get, you know what I mean? I don't want to be at max capacity, then you get in trouble. But we're right there, we're very close. We're gonna hit a scale and make sure we got the weight situated on the trailer appropriately, because the dirt driveway was not very flat, so it was hard to take a measurement off the fender of the truck to measure squat to see if we had enough tongue weight on the truck. So we will stop at the first scale and make sure we're all situated there, and then looks like we have about 9 hours to get to Albany, Oregon. Alright guys, so I did hit a cat scale, and combined weight we're at 39,000 pounds. And yeah, it's got this rotating grapple thing for like picking up railroad logs or wood and spinning it, putting it all in place. It's really nice, really cool technology. This thing was actually really easy to drive and operate. It is a 306. They call it a Mini 306. And I used a total of 6 chains, one for the grapple, one on the what is this? It's a little push plate thing, and then 1 chain for every hook, because this thing does weigh about 17,000 pounds. So, and these chains are like 5,500 pound ratings. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 chains just on the main part. You can see, got the chain, got it looped around, hooked in. So took a while. Definitely the most chains I've used so far. I've used 4 chains before, but had to unwind some of these binders because I've never used them before. But yeah, customer wanted me to be there first thing in the morning at 7 a.m. It is 4 p.m. now, and I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere. And the closest truck stop that I would get to would be Portland. And by the time I get to Portland, it'd probably be about 6 o'clock. And there's just no parking ever in Portland. It doesn't matter what time you're there, it's always a mess. So I told the customer, hey, I'm 4 hours away. I'll wake up first thing in the morning, hit the road. He wasn't super happy about it, but the problem was the broker called him and said I'd be there at 7 or 8 without talking to me about what my ETA is. You know, they work around me. If they like absolutely needed it or something, I have the hours, I could drive there, but I don't want to. I want to shower, I want to eat, I'm hungry, haven't really ate all day except for a breakfast sandwich. So yeah, call the customer, communicate, and you know, be understanding, but he doesn't need it, he just had expectations, so we're good. That's a sunrise. All right, nice little morning sunrise on the Columbia River, and we have about 4 hours to our destination. We're just gonna take it easy and cruise. All right, guys, so dropped off the, what is it, excavator, and I'm heading home. I'm 2 hours away from home. got a youth group retreat this weekend, so looking forward to that. Tomorrow I'm going to go to a dealership and get a free oil change, take advantage of my downtime because tomorrow's Friday and I'm not working, so might as well get a free oil change. It's a little early, but I'd rather get it done so I can just hit the road and not worry about it. Plus it's also free, so
eyes up.
Won't cost me anything. But I do want to recap on the ride quality and what it was like max towing. So I did hit the scales with that excavator, and I was at 39,000 pounds gross combined vehicle weight. Now the truck is rated for 40,000 gross combined vehicle weight, so I had about 1,000 pounds to spare. But what I did notice is that the ride was a little rougher than normal. So when I'm typically hauling around 30,000 pounds, the ride's actually really smooth. But getting up there to maxing out the trailer on the trailer axles was 25,000 pounds. The trailer axles are rated for 30. It was a little bumpier. I think it's because I was maxing out maybe the suspension or the leaf springs. So as long as the road was smooth, the ride was smooth. But if the road was bad at all, you felt it, and it was a little bumpy through those bad areas. As far as how the truck handled it, I can't really rate it because I didn't go over any extreme mountain passes. I didn't go over any 5 or 6% grades. I went from Spokane to Oregon, so it was you know, probably the most incline and decline I saw was probably 3%, maybe 4%. But the truck had plenty of power. It did not act like it was sluggish on power, but it didn't really strain it. I didn't really push it to its limits. I did get 7.8 miles per gallon on average with that load, so I thought the miles per gallon would drop because we were getting to more of the max rating, but because we weren't going over any extreme mountain passes or anything like that, it wasn't really affected. It was just mostly highway, really all highway. So it was really nice, really convenient. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to record unloading. It was going to a train company, and there was a crew sitting there with a brand new trailer, chains, waiting on delivery. As soon as I pulled up, 4 guys got out of the truck and started unchaining the tractor and getting the ramps down and jumped in, started it, warmed it up. Like they said they left the job to come meet me, to come pick it up because they were expecting it first thing in the morning.
Did you call for backup?
Yeah, I could have got some footage, but it probably would have been a little unprofessional, you know, with guys waiting and a sense of urgency, so I didn't. So anyways, I am heading home. I quoted 3 jobs from Oregon going to Washington, and nobody got back to me, and they came off the board, so someone else took it. And because it's such a short run, I mean, I'm only 120 miles away from home, so the rates were just pretty under 500. And for me, if it's not $500 or more, it's really not even worth my time to take on the risk of having a load. So just gonna cut my loss. It'll be about, I don't know, maybe $100 in fuel, and just do some maintenance. I need to take the tires off on the trailer and inflate the inside tire because I can't reach that valve stem. I did it before when it was super hot out. When I was in California, it was 120. I lowered the air pressure because the cold air pressure in the tire in the morning was just too high for the temperatures I was seeing, and I didn't want to blow out. Now they're too low. Now it's 55 degrees at 10 o'clock, and before it was like 75, 80 degrees at 10 o'clock. So there has been a weather change, and I need to accommodate that by putting some pressure in the tires. I did check the pressure before I picked up that tractor because I knew I was going to be maxing it out or getting close to maxing it out. And the tire pressure on the trailer went from 120 when it was 75, 80 in the morning. Now with the temperatures being so cold, it was down to 100 psi. So need to also maintenance that because we are entering winter and the temperatures are going to continue to drop. So it's always good to check your tire pressure. It's one of those things you're supposed to do all the time, but I would recommend at least a minimum of every 3 months, checking your tire pressure and readjusting to your weather conditions. That's gonna wrap it up. I know it's not super exciting, but the videos are short and sweet, and I'm dropping them weekly. Alright, see ya. Alright guys, so I just saw a Hotshot truck on the side of the road on the other side of the highway. He was pulled over by State Patrol, and it looked like he was being pulled over because he was hauling a storage container and he had 2 straps in the middle, and that's all you could see. But when I passed him, I looked really hard and I could see that there was a chain through the back of the container, but I couldn't tell if there was one in the front or not. So I'm assuming the cop saw it just like I did from afar, and you see 2 straps, and you need 1 strap for every 10 feet. So for a 40-foot container, you need to have 4 straps, and that's why he got pulled over, most likely, and that's why he's getting inspected. I don't use chains and binders on storage containers. I just use straps. When you put 4 straps on it, that's 20,000 pounds of brake force holding that container down, and that container only weighs 10,000 pounds, so you're covered. You don't have to worry about it. It's way stronger than it needs to be to hold it and secure it. But if you're using a chain and binder in the front, which is 5,000 per chain approximately, that's 10,000 pounds, and then 2 straps, you're getting that 20,000 pounds. But visually, when you go flying by someone like a police officer, it looks like you only got 2 straps on there, so you're drawing more attention to yourself and getting random inspections, and could be getting a bad inspection as a result of it if you don't have your stuff under control. So just a little something I noticed. I don't want to get pulled over just because someone thinks I'm not doing something right or don't have it secured well. So visuals is something to think about. If you're going to use chains and binders in the front and the back, and then straps, just know that those 2 straps on a storage container contrasts a lot, and they're going to draw a lot of attention towards you. Well, I was 4 miles away from dropping my trailer, and I get to the bridge, crossing over this ravine and railroad tracks, and of course a fire started. So the police have the bridge shut down, so now I have an hour detour. Gotta go all the way around the Fort Lewis McChord base. So pretty annoying because I'm like border right to the base, so there's no other shortcuts. I have to go all the way around. So awfully exciting. Got time on the clock, but just my luck, none of the maps showed a road closure because it just happened. All right guys, look at that. 19.2 miles per gallon for 2 hours of driving and stop and go traffic up to Everett. We get an oil change at the Buick GMC dealership and watching some Andrew Tate on Rumble.